now tuned in to the cold, hard truth. Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMorrowRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami.
Good morning and welcome back to the show. It's now official. Incumbent MP Kenneth Bryan has declared for the constituency of Georgetown Central.
Good
morning, everybody. Every time you see this symbol, I want you to remember Cayman first.
ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami
The Cayman Islands for decades have been dependent upon tourism and financial services. I believe an important way forward for this country is to find ways to diversify the economy, not to leave those industries behind, but to find new industries. That's one of the reasons I worked on things like the Dr. Shetty Hospital between 2009 and 2013. And with this, I was working on medical research. Medical research is over a $36 billion market within the United States. And if we can capture just a mere 1% of that market, we're talking potentially putting $360 million in the government coffers, not to mention the jobs for Caymanians, as well as additional monies being put into the Cayman Islands economy. The opportunities are great. Typically, companies are given 20-year patents. They spend 8 years doing the research and only 12 years to recoup their money. I believe that in the Cayman Islands, we can check all the regulatory boxes, but reduce that 8 years and reduce the spend. Medical research, that's the way forward.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. What is going on? OMG. We are just trying to keep up. So much is happening. I mean to tell you, if anything else pops off, it is going to be crazy. Wow. Ay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. Let's begin by saying good morning to everyone. Good morning, Evelyn. Good morning, Nilser. Good morning, Gris. Good morning, Anne-Marie. Jessica's here for it. Felicia. Ruby. Yes, I got a little bit of sleep. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Last night was really crazy. Good morning, Jermaine. Hello, Mark. Olivia. Good morning to Miss Lisa. Winnie is here for it. Good morning, my dear. Yes, I'm hoping that it's a productive day. Elizabeth. Irvlin's already laughing. Lita, good morning from West Bay West, she says, and the campaign that promotes Cayman as a shining city on a hill. Thank you so much. Luzmila, good morning. Good morning, Corrine. Wishing everybody a fabulous weekend. Brita, good morning. Buenos dias to everyone. Nilser says, I'm ready for the next session. Trust me. I'm trying to talk to some technical people at the same time. Let me just see. Okay. All right, let me see. Hannah, Louie, good morning to you, my dear. TGF Friday, yes. 55 degrees isn't too shabby. Good morning, Miss Janet. Good morning, Miss Morna. Lots of you are here. Oh, yes, Prince Philip passed away. Thank you. We do have that story up on our website already. 99 years old. Prince Philip is obviously, he's been around longer than any of us. And he was married, of course, to our queen, Queen Elizabeth II. So I'll come. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm having breakfast, which is an apple. But our condolences to the royal family. We really, I think he lived a pretty good life, though. He made it to 99. Trust me, that's not too shabby. So, well done. Well done, well done. So, all right, sorry. Right. Okay. So thank you, Miss Lily. Charm says, still exhausted, but we must soldier on. Well, I tell you what, in the world of news, that's what you do. Good morning to Richie and Celine. Thank you guys so much. Good morning, Rita. Hello, Beatrice, Gail. Marshall is here. Tasha, we have not seen you in a minute. Where have you been, girl? Tasha's been working hard for her coins. She says, good morning, Sandra. I just want to thank you for bringing us the latest news live and always providing updates. Your coverage of the Cubans and the carrier vessel was outstanding. Thank you. Aw, you're most welcome. Thank you very, very much. We will give you guys the latest update in case you went to bed super early last night and you missed it. Yes, Leroy says last night was lit. We got some video footage that we're going to be sharing with you guys as well this morning. Emma, Sonia, buenos dias, Kathy, Riaz, Jackie, Dwin, buenos dias from Rotan. Good morning, Kizzy. Thank you so much. Miss Valda is here. Did the RCIPS search their luggage? Oh, I'm sure of that. So let's get back into it. Beatrice, thank you so much. Beatrice says, I'm Cuban and I feel so ashamed of what these people did, how ungrateful they are. Jennifer says, Professor Hill, I'm present. Primrose, good morning. Good morning, Selena. And of course, Nikki is here. Nikki, you better hurry up and get your teacup because we only have so many left. So you better WhatsApp me so I can tell you where to go to get them. Because once they're gone, they're gone. This is the free batch. The first batch is free. After that, we're going to have to charge you a little something to keep CMR going. So Prince Philip has passed away. He's been married to the Queen for some 73 years. He is 99 years old. I believe she must be 96 or 97. I'll double check. But she's not far behind him in age. So I know after being married for that long, 73 years, she probably cannot imagine life without him. But the sad reality is now, I'm sure that this death will, in all likelihood, shorten her life a little bit. So we have made international news because of the Cuban situation. So we were on Telemundo 51. We were on we've been now featured in the Miami Herald. So shout out to my friend over at the Miami Herald, Jacqueline Carpenter. Jacqueline, hold on. Let me get the correct last name. Jacqueline Charles. She is an award winning writer. She's been nominated for, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now. She's got so many accolades, but she's been writing forever. And she covers Caribbean news. So she, funny enough, I am literally talking about her and I just looked up her name and she messaged me and said, good morning, were they extracted? So clearly she went to bed earlier, but that is so funny. Like I just mentioned her name at 7:51 and she messaged me at 7:51. That is so funny. All right. So, yep, she covers Caribbean, the English Caribbean countries for the Miami Herald. And she's been writing with them for a number of years. She's actually come on the show before. We've had her on for Caribbean Caribbean Connection Wednesdays. She's an American journalist and Pulitzer Prize finalist. And she's also an Emmy Award-winning Caribbean correspondent for the Miami Herald. So shout out to Jacqueline Charles. But she actually did a story. So have a look at her story. It's called Cuban Rafters Barricade Themselves on Boat, demanding that they be allowed to continue journey. So she is, thank you so much, Jackie. She is an awesome person. And we always, a lot of times she'll send me links to her stuff and keep me abreast of what's happening in the rest of the Caribbean as well. All right, so Telemundo carried it. Of course, I think Telemundo's spin on things was a little bit different. I've heard some people reporting what they said, and they seem to have taken the Cuban side as gospel, that we're like a horrible country and we are doing all this stuff to them. And, it's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Is that what's really going on? Um, so let me just, sorry. So let's just recap what happened. So we got word early in the afternoon. Thank you, Elizabeth. The Queen is 94 years old. I definitely knew she was up there. And can I tell you, they live long. I mean, I don't know of any royals that have had the luxury of living such an incredible life. But yes, she's lived long enough to see great grandchildren. 94 years old. Her sister didn't live quite as long, but I think her sister had a much more interesting life. You know, I think the more interesting your life is in terms of like the smoking and drinking and those sorts of things, you're less likely to live into your 90s. So, interestingly enough, years ago, I read a thing about Queen Elizabeth and her schedule. And what was amazing is that she has a very particular routine. So in the mornings, for example, she gets up super early and she like eats the exact same thing almost every day. She has very particular things that she eats, and you know, they make sure that they have those items ready for her. So I think, you know, I honestly think she's going to live to at least be 100. Her mother apparently had awesome genes. I mean, the mom was, how old was the Queen's mom when she died? She was over 100, I'm sure of it. Can anybody remember? So she lived, her name was Elizabeth Angela Marguerite Bose Lyon. No, that's not her. No. Wrong queen. Wrong queen's mom. That's not the one I'm looking for. Hold on. Is that her? Yes, that is her. I'm looking at the description here. And I was like, hold on a second. Yes. Children, Queen Elizabeth II, Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon. Yes. Okay. She lived to be really old. 101. Thank you. I was trying to do the math here. Thank you. Yeah, she had some very, very good genes as well. Cameron, good morning. So let's just back up and have a look at the videos. They were live streaming, and I just knew in the moment that we would have caught this through their live stream because they were live streaming every 10 minutes. So it was only a matter of time before the police were going to do what they needed to do, and thank God. So they went in around, let me tell you what time it was. So you guys remember that we were doing the interview with the young man who was extracted the day before. Now, his story was all over the place, folks. And if you've not seen it, please go on the website and have a look, because he was just, you know, a bit all over the place. So let me recap. I got a phone call saying, hey, the guy who was extracted wants to talk to you. We had understood that he was going to try to have a negotiating session with the authorities. So his objective was to come out, negotiate on behalf of the rest. Now, I don't know why he would be the negotiator. To me, that was a bit weird, because at the end of the day, he's not really the ringleader. It appears to have been Javier and his wife. And he also doesn't speak any English at all. So how he was going to negotiate with the authorities, I'm sure they have translators, but still, I was just like, this is interesting. But anyway, that's what he said. He was going to be the negotiator. And there were rumors that he wasn't feeling well he was dehydrated and whatever, and he wanted to go to the hospital. So he has now said that's not what happened, that he agreed to negotiate, and then they extracted him, and that was against his will. So they basically grabbed him and took him, sort of thing. All right. So they grabbed him the day before, they put him in the Holiday Inn. And the message then that I had received yesterday is that he was going to jump out the window at the Holiday Inn, and they would not be keeping him there, and he would find a way to the boat. And if he didn't find a way to the boat, all that was required was a single phone call, and he would then be prepared to make that call. And once he made that call, apparently the people on the boat knew what to do, and they were going to set the boat on fire. Now, you guys remember that yesterday morning, I told you all that there was a number of backstories to this whole situation. And one of the things that I said was that there's iron ore on this boat and other components of iron phosphate and stuff like that. And so the cargo that's on there at the moment is very volatile. So in other words, it's explosive if the right conditions are present. And so the staff, the crew on the boat, are responsible for ensuring the safety of their crew first and foremost, and the safety of obviously everybody else on board. Now, the police issued a report, a CBC, I should say, issued a report yesterday, essentially saying that, listen, the boat captain, and this is what we've been asking, why are we taking them back? The boat captain has said that he does not want them on board because they present a danger. So this is what the press release said. The captain of the MV Bulk Freedom has indicated that he's unwilling to transport the migrants to any other port. And then in quotes, as the vessel's structure and equipment cannot facilitate this number of persons on board in terms of health and hygiene. The captain has also advised that the vessel's safety equipment and manning does not allow more than 25 persons on board. As such, he is adamant that they must disembark in Cayman. So it was actually the boat captain that was saying, no, we are not going to, and I knew this, I think day before yesterday, that's why I could tell you this yesterday morning, but it was the boat captain that said, no, they have to get off right now. They have to get off here. We're not taking them anywhere else. So they were demanding to go elsewhere, and the boat captain, and not just the boat captain, apparently the owner of the boat contacted the authorities here. And of course, his captain is following his instructions because that's who the captain works for, right? And the owner of the vessel said, no, they must get off. Now, where they were held up in that room apparently is quite an important room because it has safety equipment in it that allows them to test the air quality and other things on the boat, that when they're carrying iron phosphate and iron ore, that they have to be very, very mindful of. So they were put in the entire, not just the crew, but even their own lives at risk. And I don't know if they didn't care or if they didn't know, and if they thought maybe that was a bargaining tool for them. I don't really know. In any event, they were live streaming. They continued to live stream. They were asking people for credits. I guess they must have got some credit. Numerous phones were blocked yesterday, as we advised in the morning. And then as phones are being blocked, they would just use another account. Well, Facebook, first they were blocking, I think, the social media accounts. And then, they would use those phones, I guess, to log into other accounts and get access to other accounts. So then they would block those as well. So It's just a hot mess, right? Anyway, they started to block some of their phones and stuff as well. Seems so that they could still receive phone calls. And just for clarification, when we called Erica yesterday, and she said that she was on the van, apparently a lot of you messaged. I did not see those messages, but other people afterwards said that I was misunderstanding her because she was still saying that she was on the boat, which I don't know how boat and van or vessel or whatever, they sound nothing alike to me. But anyway, when I said to her, so you've left the ship, like you've been extracted. I can't remember the exact terminology that I used. She replied and said, yes, but I think that just demonstrates how little English they speak. So evidently she didn't mean to say yes. So I don't know where she was other than she was still on the boat. So the early story yesterday that she had left voluntarily with the baby was incorrect. She had asked to leave and they had offered for her and either the baby's father or her to come off. And in the end, they refused to do so. So they have directly put this baby's life in danger. And I want to show you guys some video footage here. And then we're going to talk about what all of that means. So here's the exact moment that the authorities went in. And then I'm going to grab another video as well.
Vamos a ver, pues. Que ellos vienen a ver.
Ok, ya. Quiero.
Entra la policía, dile a Caimán. ¡No! ¡No! ¡Mira! ¡Mira! ¡Mira!
All right, so that was Javier. He was live streaming when they came in. I do have another one here. Let me just see if this one can be pulled up as well. So 1 second here.
Son sucios. Este gobierno es así, hermano, son sucios. Son sucios. El gobierno de Caimán es así. Ellos van a tratar por todos los medios de sacarnos de aquí a como sea. A como sea, familia. A como sea.
¿Qué?
Un mercante.
¿Otro barco más al lado de él?
Como sea. Bueno, family. Vamos aquí para seguir documentando lo que está pasando dentro de este barco, señores. He estado leyendo las noticias. He estado leyendo las noticias de Caimán Compa, de aquí de Caimán, el periódico Caimán Compa. Y es increíble cómo ellos quieren manipular las noticias y cómo quieren decir que nosotros, que no queremos darle asistencia a la niña médica, que nos negamos. Es increíble cómo dicen esa cantidad de mentiras. Es increíble cómo dicen. Es increíble, señores, estoy en vivo aquí para que la gente no esté mirando. Es increíble cómo quieren ellos manipularnos y sacarnos a la fuerza aquí, que lo que están buscando es sacarnos a la fuerza, señores. Mi hija está bien, yo soy el padre de la niña, yo soy incapaz de poner la salud de mi hija en riesgo, señores. Yo estoy pasando esta directa en vivo porque tengo que hacerlo para que la gente deje de hablar tanta estupidez y si el gobierno de Caimán deja de hablar tanta estupidez y manipular la prensa. El gobierno de Caimán, usted sabe lo que tiene que decir, usted sabe lo que tiene que decir en la prensa, usted sabe lo que tiene que decirle a las personas. ¿Por qué despidieron a la periodista Kayla Young del periódico Caimán Compa? Por ayudar a los cubanos, por decir la verdad en el periódico Caimán Compa, que hay muchas publicaciones de ella. ¿Por qué la despidieron? Eso es lo que tienen que decir, porque no les gusta que las personas digan la verdad. Y que es lo que hacen siempre cogen y reprimen a las personas como hicieron con la periodista Kayla Young, que la despidieron del periódico Caimán Compa injustificadamente. Ustedes pueden buscarla ahí en Facebook, ahí está su página ahí. Era periodista del periódico Caimán Compa y ese periódico la despidió. A esa prensa no es 100% confiable. Ya dejen de estar diciendo una bola de patraña. Si ustedes tienen tanto interés de verdad en darle asistencia médica a esa niña, manden un doctor, manden a la Cruz Roja aquí a este barco, que lo pueden hacer. Porque nosotros no nos estamos negando que le den asistencia a la niña médica. Nosotros no nos estamos negando. Nosotros lo que no queremos es salir de este barco, porque no queremos ir a tierra caimanera. Porque en esa tierra caimanera fue donde arrestaron a mi hija. En esa tierra caimanera fue donde cogieron a los padres de la niña, 5 oficiales de migración, y abusaron de ellos. ¿Entiendes? En esa tierra caimanera fue donde negaron asistencia social a mi hija. Que todo el mundo fue testigo de eso en cada lugar que yo fui a tocar la puerta para pedir ayuda para mi hija. No me la dieron. Entonces ya dejen de transversar las noticias, dejen de decir que ustedes son los mejores. Social Service llamó, señores. Social Service ahora llamó para decirnos de que si la niña no iba al hospital, ellos iban a buscar un juez para pedir un permiso para venir a sacar a la niña aquí. Ahora están interesados por la niña después de haber arrestado a mi hija. Ahí están los videos en redes sociales, ahí ustedes pueden ver a mi hija arrestada y montada en una patrulla. Hicimos una protesta por 12 días frente a un gobierno para que tomaran represalia con esos oficiales que arrestaron a mi hija. Y a ellos no les importó nada de eso. Los oficiales continúan en las calles, circulando, trabajando, no le hicieron nada. Tampoco le hicieron nada a esos 5 oficiales que todavía tienen el cinismo de venir a esta puerta aquí a pararse aquí enfrente de mí. Tampoco le hicieron nada a esos 5 oficiales de migración que usaron violencia en contra de mi familia enfrente de mi hija. Y mi niña pequeña viendo ahí cómo cogían a su padre, lo tiraban al piso y le ponían la rodilla en el pie y le ponían...
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of the translation. So apparently he is saying, you keep hearing him talking about the Cayman Compass. What he's saying about that is that Kayla Young, who used to work for the Compass, I didn't even know she was no longer there, so that was news to me, was fired by the Cayman Compass. And he feels that they fired her because she was helping get their message out there. Now, if it's any consolation to you, Javier, I'm pretty sure that's not why Kayla got fired. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even know Kayla was no longer there. But the Compass has been firing all kind of people. They fired Woody. They fired Miss Karen, who'd been there for probably like 40 years. They fired all sorts of people recently. So I wouldn't draw the conclusion that they fired her because of stories that she had done. So anybody else want to translate anything else? But that's the gist of what he was saying. And apparently, I guess Kayla's bilingual. So he felt a connection to her there and said that she was always posting news about them. And she actually went with them to translate when one of them met with His Excellency, the governor. So I guess they saw an ally in Kayla, and then when she left the Compass, they felt like it was connected to them and their story. I think they're really taking too much credit, though. Like, I don't really think that that's what is going on here. So let me just see any more of your comments. Patty says, does he ever stop talking? He does talk a lot. Lizette says, the boat is not yours. He says, oh, Anne, thank you so much. He says that the Cayman Islands government is dirty and he will tell the truth. He said the Cayman Compass was lying. Then they are not denying attention. They're not denying medical attention. So I don't know what the Compass wrote, but I guess they must have said something like that. And we heard that they were, I didn't hear anything about medical attention, but food. They were not, they were supposedly going on a hunger strike. And by yesterday or whatever, they were getting really nasty with the food, urinating on the food and like throwing the food back at, you know, the, I guess, people who had slid it through the door and who had provided it. So Jonathan says he only understands the bad words. Whew, what a hot mess. You know, that's normally the ones you learn first in a foreign language. But anyway, Karen says in rubbish, he's talking a whole bag of, in short, talking a whole bag of rubbish. So yes, thank you, Anne. Anyway, he said that 5 immigration officers slammed him to the ground in front of his child. Well, if it's any consolation, Javier, the child seems to be exposed to a lot already for her young age. It's horrible to imagine the strife that she's going to have in life growing up with parents who are that combative. I mean, it's one thing to like maybe have one parent that is extremely combative, but when you have both parents that are combative, and I cannot imagine the at this stage, the child doesn't know any better, right? But at the same time, this all has to be impacting her. The constant screaming and yelling and on a boat out in the middle of the ocean, and poor baby was running a fever, and it can't be good for her mental state. So I was not surprised yesterday that I got a phone call to say that the authorities were actually looking to obtain an emergency court order in order to extract the child and to take the child from them, because they are obviously very concerned about not only the physical safety of this child, but just the overall welfare of the child as well. And the child's safety is always, for the court, supposed to be their safety and well-being, supposed to be the paramount consideration when they're looking at any situation that involves children. So there was a lot of back and forth. And goes on to say that he said the Cayman government treated him bad, and they're trying to keep them silent by manipulating the media. In other words, the Cayman Compass. I don't know exactly how that works. Yes, Nilser, they had food. I mean, they were given food, water, and Gatorade. But I think yesterday, at some points, they were getting a little bit nasty with it. They were demanding cleaning supplies, which obviously on an explosive boat and a boat carrying explosive cargo, I don't know what kind of cleaning supplies they're allowed to have. But, you also have to be careful how you're giving access to cleaning supplies and what they're doing with those cleaning supplies. And once again, the allegation is these guys were preparing weapons and really getting themselves ready to attack the crew of the boat, so that then they could make some demands in terms of where they wanted to go. So the other consideration is that the boat captain, like we said, was not comfortable proceeding with them on board. And it was the captain and the owner of the boat who were demanding that he comes off of the boat. All of them come off. So we have to respect that. Alice says, why does he keep saying that his baby's Caymanian just because she was born here? I was born here also, but I'm not Caymanian. I'm paper Caymanian because both my parents are English, but I'm not going to hijack a boat or do anything else stupid like these a-holes. Kiss my teeth. Yeah, I mean, listen, it is very, very obvious that Javier, Erica, and the others believe what they want to believe, which isn't always necessarily the facts. And we remember when they were protesting and we went out there and their sign was like how the police had arrested the baby. And I said to them, what do you mean the police had arrested the baby? Like, I don't even think a baby is capable of being arrested legally. So when I started asking them questions, all it was is that the mother was arrested, I think, when she had the baby, and the baby was there with her. It's not like they arrested the baby, because there is actually a difference between a child being with a mother who has been arrested and the child itself being arrested. But they don't get a lot of things. They just say these things that are inflammatory, because to say that a baby has been arrested, that is obviously, that would make anybody upset. Like, who arrests a baby? So right away, we'd want to attack the police. And factually, that's not what was going on. He also made some comment about, there's a number of things that they've said that just isn't actually correct. So thank you so much for, somebody else actually has sent some messages. We're going to read some of those here in a second. Shout out to our YouTube followers. We've got 50 people on YouTube right now. 405 persons logged on. Josephine makes the point that one of them is ex-military. Somebody else said yesterday, well, pretty much they all go to military, some sort of military training in Cuba as part of their educational process. So the allegations are that they were making plans on board of how they could take over the vessel and the crew on the vessel to get what they wanted. And it was also alleged that the authorities, well, at least one person on board spoke Spanish, one of the crew members, and he overheard this conversation, and that they were able to record bits and pieces of that conversation. And in fact, the plot that was being put together was that they would use the child. So they would take a pillowcase or something and wrap it around their hand and slightly injure the child, and then say to them, oh my gosh, the baby's hurt, the baby's injured, and you need to come in right away with medical assistance. And then when the medical assistance comes in, then they would take over some of the crew members. Now, if you think that that sounds like a crazy, far-fetched story, let me tell you another part of this story that you might find interesting. One of the other guys on the boat, so they're all related, I've come to find out. Remember the group that came from Cayman Brac? So they landed in, I think it was like November. This is part of that group of individuals. They're all family members. So the one guy who got out day before yesterday, his son is on the boat. So they're like, I guess, cousins and father, whatever. They're all somehow related, right? So one of them has claimed in media before and claimed on the protesting that his ankle monitor had cut into him and had injured him. And so it was then the authorities' fault for putting his ankle monitor too tight or in a position where this could happen. And he was demanding that it be removed. Well, the authorities wouldn't remove it. And they did take him to the hospital. Apparently, he had some surgery on his leg. What really happened, apparently, the true story, is it had nothing to do with the ankle bracelet injuring him per se, but he had gone into the bush and had injured himself. I got this strange thing happening with my hair today. He'd gone into the bush, injured himself, and then with something, he'd cut his leg, and then was blaming that cut because it happened in the general vicinity of the ankle monitor. He was then blaming that on the ankle monitor and was insisting that as a result of that, they take it off. So the authorities wouldn't take it off, but I do understand that they actually repositioned it somewhere else on the leg. So to say that these individuals are less than honest is an understatement. They have lied on more than one occasion. They know that the child is not a Caymanian just because she's born here. Wouldn't that be nice if everyone could claim that right? And, there was a reason why the immigration law was changed to not allow that to happen, because we had a lot of people coming here and just, boom, I'm going to have a baby, and dropping it on us. And then all of a sudden that creates an immigration situation, because if a child has rights, and the parents can acquire rights and all sorts of craziness, right? Someone said that he's from Camagüey in Cuba. I don't even know where that is in Cuba. But anyway, so they've been less than honest. They were telling people how they have a plan to go to the U.S. and that somebody named Mr. Smith at U.S. Immigration has spoken to them, and they've guaranteed that they will be able to come in to the U.S. And I'm like, Mr. Smith, okay. And when someone asked the guy yesterday that we interviewed, well, who's telling you this? Oh, well, Erica says. And it's like, okay, so Erica has connections with U.S. Immigration that you're going to just drive up in a tanker, a bulk carrier, and be like, oh, we're here, let us in. And so when the person said, did you actually get this in writing? Of course they haven't gotten it in writing. And, they're just being fooled and hoodwinked into this. They just think that they can, again, go to the U.S. and make demands on the U.S. authorities. I think the truth of the matter is, had they done this in the U.S., they would have received a very pleasant surprise, and it wouldn't be as nice as what they got from us. So here's footage of when the baby was actually extracted.
Give us the shot.
Rush! Everybody stay still!
Oh my God, that poor baby. So Ingrid says, put the baby in foster care, do not give the baby back. So here's what I know. Like I said yesterday, we just received word that they were rushing to court to try to get an emergency court order in order to take the child just for that purpose. I suspect that they got that emergency court order, and that's why they were able to first go in and extract the baby. So the primary thing that they were concerned about was the welfare of the child. They took the child first. They brought the child out. This happened shortly after, like I said, we were actually doing the live interview with the other guy who was at the Holiday Inn after he insisted that they send me a message about what his intentions were. So that was shortly after about 6:30 or so. So in the middle of interviewing him, and again, you know, he was dishonest with me because I asked him a number of questions. He claims that they were out there for 48 hours. We know that that is not factually correct. He claims that they were 200 and something miles out. We also know that that's impossible and that that wasn't correct. They were actually 59 nautical miles out. So there just seems to be a lot of misinformation. Then when I said to him, because when the person called me saying, hey, this guy wants me to relay this message, I said, listen, this not no carry come sort of circular thing. If he has a message for me, tell him to give me the message himself. I'm the most accessible person in the Cayman Islands on the phone in any event. So, you know, have him talk to me. Oh, you know, he doesn't speak English. I said, we'll arrange to have a translator. The message that I got was that he was planning on, like I said earlier, jumping out of the Holiday Inn window. This is what he said. And if he couldn't get back to the boat, he was going to make a singular phone call. And that singular phone call, the people on board knew what to do. And they were going to start a fire and, you know, kill everybody on board. So I said, right, that's quite an interesting message. And that's the kind of message that, you know, you need to say yourself. I'm not going to relay that message third party. But he wouldn't commit to any of that yesterday when he was actually on the phone with us. So at the same time that was happening, shortly after 6 o'clock, going into the 7 o'clock hour, the baby was extracted. So let's just watch that again, because it certainly, I mean, again, I think that this mother is putting herself first before the welfare of the child. I think that she is a little bit confused, but I also think that she's just incredibly selfish. You know, why would she, and in moments of desperation, you hear her, you know, I guess a mother's instinct at some point might eventually kick in. But she and all of the other people there have created this situation that has put the baby, first of all, at risk, and also themselves. Now, they as adults, I guess, can put themselves in danger, but what they've done to this baby is absolutely horrible. And I wish to commend the RCIPS and CBC and all of the authorities for the wonderful job that they have done in order to, you know, expedite this. I mean, I thought it should have moved a little bit quicker, but extract the child without anyone being harmed and eventually extracting all adults. And I only heard that Javier picked up a couple licks in transport because he, again, was being very, very defiant and, you know, was trying to tell people and show people that he's going to be defiant until the end. So if he was getting physical with the officers, then yes, throw some licks in his ass. I don't care about that.
Give us the shot. Rush! Everybody stay still!
Good. So you hear them say, give up the child. You know, they were basically trying to use this child as a human shield. Shame on them. I agree with, let me just see. Natasha says, deport Erica with that baby to DR and send Javier with her. DR does not have refugee status. So send them to his wife's home and have them leave for the US from DR. I think at this point, Javier needs to be stripped of his political asylum status. I don't know what Sammy's going to be joining us in a little bit, and I don't know what is required to do that. But without a doubt, he needs to be stripped of that status. Erica needs to be stripped of whatever we gave her the other day to allow her to remain here and work here without the need to have a work permit. And they all need to leave forthwith. Now, the situation with Cuba, folks, is there are no repatriation flights at the moment. And that's why there has been a delay in getting these people back to Cuba. Now, 13 of them left last year in November. They were picked up by the Mexican authorities. 10 of those 13 are still in a Mexican jail where they don't even get to see daylight. The other 3 had family members in the U.S. send money to the Mexican authorities to pay for their way out. Because, you know, in some countries, that's how you get out of jail. You got to pay. And the rest will remain in prison, I guess, indefinitely until somebody finds the money. I don't know. The other thing that we discovered yesterday, and this is a bit of breaking information, again, not confirmed by the authorities. I want to make it very, very clear that I have people on the inside who give me information, but it's not an official statement. But you guys know how it goes. 97% of the time, it's spot on, it's correct. So what we have been told is that the 10 individuals, the migrants, have applied for political asylum, and they have been denied political asylum. Their applications have been denied. So this is the backstory against why they are acting the fools right now. So their political asylum applications were denied. They looked at the relevant provisions as it relates to obtaining political asylum here in the Cayman Islands. There's law that applies to that. And there are criteria that they are looking for. And they did not meet any of that. What they found with these individuals is that they were actually economic seekers. So in other words, they were looking to improve their economic situation, but that doesn't have anything to do, you know, with political asylum. So that's interesting. You know, that this has actually happened, and they're unhappy about that. And that seems to be one of the driving forces behind this attitude and this whole situation that has now ensued. So Zanaya says, RCIPS are bosses, a job well done officers. Cayman has roughness too. And if you pull it out, it will have to come out. Big up to the operation officers overall. So yes, we also received word yesterday that the premier was saying to them, do not use force. He wanted this settled equitably. Of course, with some of these guys, you can't really go in there saying that you're not going to use force. They've got non-lethal force. They've got tasers, batons, and other things that they can utilize if need be. But there were armed officers also on the vessel in case it had to get to that. The other thing is I am being told, and I wish the government would have some sort of press conference and provide this information, but I'm being told that we will have to now foot the bill for the ship being here all of this time. So whatever that price is, we are going to be held responsible for that. So you grab the paycheck, not the paycheck, but the checkbook, folks, because CIG will now be on the hook for that as well. That alone, believe me when I tell you, would be like, listen, you guys are out of here. Not even the first opportunity. Charter a flight. Charter a flight to Cuba. All right, so here's a comment. This person says, I believe a huge and very important point that is being missed here in all of this is that the Cubans left Cuba and came here claiming to be political refugees and applied for asylum. They left Cayman without permission because Cayman was not good enough for them and took a chance on an obviously unseaworthy vessel, which eventually broke down. And we did hear that in an interview yesterday. The guy said it started to take on water. This person goes on to say, they were drifting in the open ocean in heavy seas on board a vessel that was sinking. They were luckily rescued by a passing vessel that was obligated to render assistance and take them to the nearest safe port. Just because they claim to be refugees from Cuba does not mean that commercial and private vessel on the high seas are to be used as an Uber service and that the rescuees wherever, and take the rescuees wherever they want. It does not work that way. When persons make demands on a vessel to take them wherever they want to go, it's called piracy. It is an airline. In an airline, the same thing is called hijacking. Both piracy and hijacking are criminal offenses and should be treated accordingly. Very, very interesting comments, and I agree, I think, with those. Let's just have a look at something else that is being shared with us here. Now, you guys will remember that in his interview yesterday, he said he was 250 miles out. So that's what this person now has to say about that part of it. He said in his interview yesterday with you last night, he told you a lot of lies as well. They were not 250 miles out. If they were 250 miles out, that vessel would not have been anywhere near them, because the shipping line is very far away from where he said they were. And this actually shows the path then of the 250 miles out, where that would actually be, where the Cayman Islands is, and where the shipping line is. So nowhere near. Look at this is a very interesting picture. Look at the Cayman Trench. So nowhere near, again, where he claims that they were, but he said they were 250 miles out. Again, maybe they're not all that good with geography. I don't really know. Lomino says, don't take the child. This isn't a problem. They need to go with her to DR and immediately back to Cuba for the rest. Yadieli says, no deportation. So Yadieli, what do you expect is going to happen next? These people have threatened violence on the people of the Cayman Islands. They've said that they do not want to be here and they will do everything in their power to leave. So if we don't deport them, do we put them in jail? Is that what you're suggesting we should do? We imprison them in this jurisdiction? They have committed a number of offenses. So without a doubt, jail is appropriate. But do we even bother with that, or do we just try to get them off of the island? Thank you, Tommy, for tuning in. Thank you so much. Samantha says that they should still be pounding them as far as she's concerned. Well, they claim that the child's illness was being exaggerated. And I mean, there's a number of stories around that, Anne, about how that was playing out. So there is a question there that they were actually, the child had a fever, but they were giving the child baby Tylenol, but they were trying to over-exaggerate the illness of the child in order to get them to come in. So someone has just informed us that Yadeli, or Yadeili, or however that's pronounced, is one of the ones that left to Mexico in November. So don't pay her any mind. She is sick like them. Ay, caramba. So they do charter flights on many occasions just to take them to Cuba, so it can easily be done. Well, they need to make sure they're on the phone now. France Manderson, get on the phone right now and get on to the Cuban authorities. You need to expedite a charter flight. And someone reminds us that if they're denied, they do have 14 days to appeal. If they appeal already before this problem, then we see the problem there. If they didn't appeal as yet, and the time has passed, they can repatriate them. If they appeal, it would go IAT, Immigration Appeals Tribunal, and that takes too long for them to decide. That is where all of the problem is. Government takes too long to solve this, and after 1 year, they lose their Cuban residency. What a mess. This is just unbelievable. Another commenter says, hi, Sandra, this man is disgusting. Definitely, he has mental health issues. The couple has mental issues, and everyone who follows him has mental issues. The way that he expressed himself is so disrespectful to the Cayman Islands people and government. He needs to apologize to all Caymanian people in the government, and his live stream and everything that he said, as it's just lies. I speak and understand Spanish very well, and trust me, these people are disgusting. So sad to hear humans talk like this and send that kind of streaming to the media. This people plan the trip. Their goals are make one stop here in Cayman, get food, gas, and water, continue on to Honduras, and once they go to Honduras, they're traveling by land to Mexico and eventually pass the border into the U.S. border. Well, that's a long trip, and apparently, that's I think where the issue lies is that a lot of times they don't make it to their final destination. Okie dokie. I think deportation is definitely in order. I don't know why anybody would think that we would allow someone who's a group of people who have threatened violence, been disrespectful, and all this stuff to remain here. They should be deported. Absolutely, 1,000%. They should be deported. They should not be able to remain in this jurisdiction. You don't get the privilege of acting the way in which they have and breaking all those laws and making people in this country feel unsafe. I'm sure the boat has left in quick hurry. That captain probably put that in fast gear and pedaled out of here last night. Under no circumstances should they get the baby back. Well, I don't think that that's in the best interest of the child, but I don't know where the child would go. And the other thing is, I think at the end of the day, that you have to consider that the Cuban government has to authorize even a charter flight, especially during the COVID pandemic. But the Cuban government, we need to work in conjunction with them for them to take their citizens back. Damien says they have criminal records in Cuba, and that's maybe a reason why they were denied. Oh, good. The vessel's on its way to Panama. Poor thing. You can do real live checks as well on where the vessel is. Yep, I think so. They should definitely be gone. So hopefully there is there is sufficient security at the facility. And when I mean that, I don't mean just the security company. Armed guards now positioned at the hotel that they are staying at, that they must remain in quarantine. And during this next 14-day period, when they're in quarantine, they can do something about that. So any updates in security? Oh my gosh, we're on the same wavelength today. Like literally as I was saying that, a message just came in. Hi, Sandy. Any update on security at the Holiday Inn? Should the public be worried about their safety, especially in this area? I was just thinking the exact same thing. And I think that the public should be worried. The government should be worried. Everybody should be worried. And what they need to do, quite frankly, is make sure, as I just said, that there are armed guards on location. And they have instructions because, again, this guy said he will jump out the window. He will do whatever, that they have instructions to act accordingly should any of that happen. And don't be nice about it. Thank you, Irvelyn. She says, thanks for bringing this situation to light. If it wasn't for you, we would not have had all the information to capture them by broadcasting their every move. Tasha says, I will donate money through the cost of a Cayman Airways charter flight to Cuba to take them back. Britta says, we deport criminals. Well, all right, Sammy, are you ready for me? Poor Sammy had to log off. He's probably like, listen, girl, I got work to do. We have something break-in for 9:30, so I have actually got to go. This is going to pop off here. I got to get to the location, and you guys are going to be shocked about this one. I can't tell you what it is yet, because sometimes these people, they tell you, yes, come, and then something else happens. So let me get to the location first and start live streaming. but you guys are going to want to really, really pay attention to what is happening today for sure. So let me just pull Sammy back. So something's gonna be popping off this morning. So I gotta get going here. One other question, anonymous statement. There are no penalties or jail time, as the guy stated yesterday. Some of these refugees have come 2, 3, and 4 times before. What? As far as military goes, just because each Cuban national is required to serve in military for 2 years, and most government workers will be seen wearing those same military type clothing. Unfortunately, a lot of Cubans are deceptive and conniving. It is in their nature to have an alternative plan made from what they are showing. The Cayman Islands needs to remember that they are humans, yes, and should be treated as humans. However, we also must keep our complete guards up at all time. CI also needs to remember that human rights does not supersede the law. The law is there for 2 reasons. Number 1, to keep order, and number 2, to keep the safety and well-being of the country's people. Thank you so much for that. Okay, well, I think Sammy's just having a little bit of internet issues, so let's continue reading some of your comments. Carolyn, good morning. Carol, yes. Of course, they're lying continuously. They don't know an honest day. They are criminals. John weighs in. Similar to the refugee crisis in Europe, with many being economic migrants and not asylum seekers or legitimate refugees. The CIG should give a firm hand to anyone trying to pose as refugees. Thank you, Josephine. Says also they left on Sunday, 14 of them. Who is the 14th? Because we've only ever heard of 13. They also said that the ship to make a stop in Cayman to offload cargo. Yeah, they were telling a lot of stories. Like, I was just confused by a lot of it. So these people cost us more than our unemployed Caymanians. See what happens when the CI is the point of holdup, or KYD is known to clear it all. Sad part is we have born Caymanians who would never do this, but the same Caymanians will never get that amount of money spent on these. Vote smart, regardless of this distraction. This started from somewhere. Guess where? Okay. Yeah, I think we definitely, John, to your point, have to be very, very careful about the message that this has sent out to people around the world. Everybody's willing to donate a flight. Listen, we have Cayman Airways planes available. I don't think we need to pay Cayman Airways, that's our national carrier, to take them back. I think our government now, as a matter of national priority, needs to get a hold of the respective authorities and arrange a charter flight to either the Dominican Republic, or if, I don't know if their airports are open, or to Cuba. And they need to get on this forthwith so that the second they come out of quarantine, they're able to go. Lizette says if Javier goes to Cuba, he'll be facing jail. Well, if he stays here, he should be facing jail as well. There's no way that we should allow them to come out of quarantine and continue to live life like normal. They should all be going to jail for what they have done and the position that they put this country in. But I would say the better option, instead of wasting money and putting them in jail, they'll be live streaming from jail every single day as well. I would dare say that, they need to actually get out of here as quickly as possible. Jim says jail in Panama, Pirates of the Caribbean would be life in prison. In many places, they'd be getting a very hefty sentence for what they've done. Michelle, sorry. They all need to be deported back to Cuba as soon as their quarantine is over. Yep. Deport them and don't put them in prison here. The government shouldn't be spending any more money on these ungrateful people. I agree. Juanita is a bit more. Juanita describes a situation where they should be getting more than just jail time. We can't do that, Juanita. We still have to respect their human rights. Alice says Cuba needs to pay for the flight and the ship time. Child, please. Cuba's going to be like, they're no longer a problem. Keep them. All right, folks. So we do have a break-in situation that is happening. I think the best thing for me to do at this, every day I say to myself, I'm going to do some paperwork today. I need to get some paperwork done. Something's always popping off. But anyway, we are here to cover the news, folks. That's what we do. And we love it. And we love bringing you guys all of the news and keeping you guys updated. So something is now happening. And so we need to get on it and be able to bring you the news as it happens. So Lorna says that I should adopt the baby. Aw, she's so sweet. I wish I could, but child, please. I ain't looking for no drama in my life. Even adopting a child, a Caymanian child, presents certain difficulties because oftentimes the parents know who has adopted the baby. And so the difficulty of that is, you know, if they're drug addicts or they have problems, child, they're going to be on your doorstep every day. And nobody wants that kind of drama. I would love to adopt a child. I think everybody who, you know, I only have one daughter and that's it. I'm done. But I don't necessarily, I wouldn't be opposed to adopting a child or fostering a child or, you know, but what I don't like is drama in my household. Like, I think you got to maintain happiness in your home and balance in your home. And so when you import strife in, that's never a good thing. But I would honestly love to adopt a child. Like, I think there's so many children who grew up in unfortunate situations who don't ever get an opportunity. And if you can reach out and you have the means by which to do so, adoption is wonderful. And I think everybody should do it, really. So Lance, we're on it. We're on it. That's where I'm going. Lance, let the cat out of the bag. So I'm going to grab my bags and be on my way. So yes, that's why I'm going to log off right now. Thank you, Omar. Wants to know if we can do any coverage on the St. Vincent volcano eruption. We actually did a story on that yesterday. I don't know if you guys missed it, but we cover international and regional news, and we did do a story on that yesterday afternoon. Evacuation order for St. Vincent as volcano shows signs of possible eruption. So please read that story. I'm going to put the link here in case you missed it. Do you know that on the website, Omar, you can actually go and sign up for website alerts so that every time a story is posted, kind of sometimes Facebook is like weird. It doesn't always notify you of when a page has posted something. So if you go to the website, there's an option to actually sign up for website notifications so that every time a story goes up, you're notified. But yes, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has said that his government has contacted several nations, including the United States, Cuba, and Venezuela, to discuss possible assistance. And he said that Barbados and St. Lucia are willing to receive evacuees, but they will have to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Of course, this probably presents a problem for them because I don't know whether or not, you know, they have even been able to get much vaccine. So he said that the Royal Caribbean has indicated that it would get to St. Vincent with a cruise ship that can house 1,500 persons who will also have to be vaccinated before they are allowed to occupy the vessel. So yeah, this is COVID complexities, right? So 1,500 people on a cruise ship with COVID running rampant is a recipe for disaster. So we did put this story up. This volcano So they can also get people to Barbados and St. Lucia if need be, Royal Caribbean. So this volcano last erupted explosively on April the 13th, 1979. So they are watching it, but it is showing signs of possible eruption. There were continuous gas emissions on Thursday morning, meaning that there's fresh magma close to the surface. So they're very, very mindful of that. So St. Vincent has been placed on red alert, the highest of the 4-level scale. And it means that an explosive eruption is imminent. Thank you, Omar, for reminding us of how incredibly fortunate we are not to have to deal with these sorts of things. Lauren, I was wondering if I was going to the UK. Oh no, did it erupt already? What? OMG. Somebody just told me it erupted. Oh my God. Whew, everything is just breaking all at once. Oh my God. Hold on now. Hold on. Whoa. What? As of 8:41 this morning, April the 9th, an explosive eruption occurred of the, what is it, La Choufriere volcano in St. Vincent. It's a combination of seismic activity that began on April the 8th. The eruption is ongoing, and more information will be shared as things progress. Whoa. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Well, let me show you guys the video footage that we have. Omar, I didn't realize that you were meaning like there was a development right now. All right, give me a second before I got to run out the door. Let me just grab this. Lord, the world is just full of news, isn't it? Here we go. This is it. My God. Nosa. Oh, a mess.
Hey. Yo, Isla, let me roll. I have to move from here. Alright, let me go. Alright, let me go.
Okay, so there you have it. The volcano is erupting. Wow. All right, folks. That's craziness times 2. Yes, we are paying for quarantine, of course. So you do the math, 3,000 times 12 of them, I guess, because a baby probably doesn't cost the same. Someone says use the FAB aircraft to take them. All right, so I gotta go. I think your sentiments are well understood. I would love to hear from the government and what they plan to do with these Cubans. That is a request for a press conference, folks. Somebody please message Alden McLaughlin. He might listen to you guys more than he would listen to me. Tell him we need a press conference to hear what the government's plan is on dealing with the Cubans. We have a general election next week on Wednesday, literally just days out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, really 4 before election day. On Monday, we'll be having an interview with the elections office. Morna is asking that I adopt her. So Julie says, let's be careful. We have children and we don't know what tomorrow will bring. Give them a boat and let them go. We can't do that, you see. That's the thing that actually runs against what we're legally allowed to do. We're not able to give them a boat and tell them to go. That's not, they either get on a plane and we put them on a specific jurisdiction that will accept them, but just putting them a boat and say bye is not how it works. So Royal Caribbean, well, it looks like, Stephen, they better start grabbing some people. Yes, thank you, Omar. Apparently it has erupted. Wow. Okay, so I will ask our regional correspondent to keep an eye on that situation. I will go and keep an eye on all the stuff that's happening here. I'm actually going to now message my other guy and see kind of what his schedule is looking like today. Hopefully nothing. I know Carol is like, it's just too much news. Even the young lady I was telling you guys about, Jackie at Miami Herald, she's like, girl, what is happening in the Caribbean? You guys are just keeping me busy. What language do they speak in St. Vincent? Do they not speak English? I always thought that they just spoke English. Or are they French mix-up situation? Yeah, I don't know what. Let me listen to me. Omar's like, pronounce that again. Hold on. Let me get Google. I don't know if it's Google Translate that's going to help us out here, but hold on a second. Let's see how this is pronounced. Hold on. La Soufrière. I feel like I'm Vincent Frederick trying to pronounce constituency. All right, let's. I don't know what language this is. But let's see if we can pull it up here. Now, where can we get a pronunciation? Let me see. Pronunciation. Is it going to be Google Translate? Here we go. This is how we pronounce it. Pay attention, folks. Soufrière. Let's hear it again. Soufrière. That sounds French. La Soufrière. Okay. Soufrière. Everybody got it? All at once? Soufrière. La Soufrière. Now we know how to pronounce it. I don't know what the origins of that word is. Yeah, Soufrière. It sounds French. Is it French? How to pronounce it is French. So this one says how to pronounce la Soufrière in French. I did not take French, I took Spanish. But there you go. La Soufrière.
La Soufrière.
La Soufrière. This one has a bit.
La Soufrière.
This one has a bit more of a turn at the end. Do you hear that?
La Soufrière.
La Soufrière.
La Soufrière.
La Soufrière. We'll get it. We'll get it. It won't be constituency that's going to be confusing us. Yes. All right. So let's get going, folks. Brita, Morna, Miss Hannah, Jess, Julie, Ariana. In some of the U.S. news, they use your video. What? Go Cayman Mall Road. Thank you, Ariana, for letting us know. Good morning, Beverly from Florida. Yeah, Sammy is having some tech issues. We'll catch up with him later on. But we got popping news, so I'm out of here. It's Creole, French Creole. French mix up, says Valda. Send me the link for where those were used. Hey, they never contacted CMR and say, can we get your permission to use your video? But you know what? We don't care because all press is good press as far as we're concerned. All right. Yes, French classes, right? We haven't mastered Spanish yet, but we've moved on to French classes. Elizabeth says you need a news section, a crime investigation section, and an in-house section. Too much. I'm out of here, folks. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend. When we go live, make sure you tune in because we need to see what drama is popping off this morning. Adios. Hasta luego. How do you say goodbye in French? I don't know. I think I should know this at least. Whatever it is. Goodbye. Have a good day. Sulfur outlet. Thank you, Susan. Did Susan? She must have studied French in school. All right, folks, that's all I got for you. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.